Our recording. We got our TV back. No more Netflix for us. Um, but once we set up Redis, we looked into Heroku config, right, and we saw that it added in a Redis URL, and we added that to our code in the cable.yaml file, so that action cable knew how to connect to Redis. Right, all that process is handled for us by Heroku. Makes it very easy to use these add-ons, add in a new data storage system, and go from there. We talked about active job, right? Active job was added in Rails 4.2 to kind of consolidate and abstract away the particulars of the background job processing. So just like active record is kind of our abstraction of a data model, it's really independent of a data system. It just so happens that active record works really well with SQL, and so we always use it with PostgreSQL. But active record itself is the object relational model that is a little bit abstracted away from databases, so we can deal with active record objects as opposed to database objects. Same thing with active job. It's the abstraction of a background job, and so we can deal with active job as opposed to having to deal with Sidekick specifically. And that way, if we decide to move off Sidekick to Rescue, for example, or delayed job, or a different background processing system, we don't have to rewrite all of our code. We can just change how active job works with Sidekick or the background job system, right? So we can just change that level of integration. We don't actually have to rewrite our entire background job processing system. So that's kind of a nice part about active job. Sidekick is the background processing system we talked about. The reason being it's just the fastest. It handles jobs with the quickest throughput. One thing to keep track of though is it does require that all of your code is thread safe. So it runs them in parallel. Other background job systems like Rescue and Delayed Job don't do that. They'll spin up different dynos per worker, and they'll keep the workers separate, so you don't have to worry about thread safety. But Sidekick is very fast at the expense of making sure your code is thread safe. And that was week 6. The week 6 lab. Remember what we did? We also did image uploading. Exactly. So we used image uploading. We used carrier wave, I believe, and image magic. Image magic. Right. So we used AWS buckets to actually store the assets. The carrier wave gem kind of handle a lot of that process for us, and image magic is good for also just image handling. So this, and one more thing to do with Heroku, right? Storing in data files. S3 and Amazon is a very cheap way to store data files or any sort of assets that you really need. So if your application wants to handle video uploads or image uploads, it's a great way to store them as opposed to storing them somewhere else like a database. So the lab walked us through that process, how to create buckets, how to integrate it with Heroku, how to actually upload, and how to fetch the assets from S3. Great. So week 7. That was just last week. What did we cover? No one remembers. Heroku plugins, exactly. We did Rollbar and Paper Trail. Right? Paper Trail was for logging and being able to search your logs, and Rollbar was for error management. So if there's an exception, Rollbar will capture how many times it occurs, keep track of the details, and you can start to assign things to keep track of the errors. And Paper Trail is great for logs, right? So if you run Heroku logs --tail in the command line, it gives you the stream of logs, but there's no way to save that. And so Paper Trail will save your logs for a few days, give you the option to search them, so you can go back and see what's going on. That's great. We also talked about user roles and relationships. We talked a little bit about adding in user admin, like an admin privilege, how to kind of configure that and give maybe the admin certain privileges, like checking out the Sidekick page, or maybe giving access to a certain view in the application, lets them see all the users. So I talked about relationships, so using a lookup table to have like basically friendships between users, right? So users can follow other users or be followed, right? So we basically want like a has many, right? And we had like followed. We did that right through active relationships, right? So basically, let us have relationships between users using a separate table, which is called a lookup table, that kept track of simply two user IDs. One was who was following and who was followed. But then we still could create, using the Rails magic, give us access to saying, user dot follow dot followed the people that user followed. So right, and the lookup table was handy because rather than storing it just as an array on that actual user, that makes it hard to look up, makes it hard to modify that list, right, if it's an array. So the lookup table is very fast. All the operations are constant, O of one time. Lookup table. So that's handy. Finally, at the very end, we talked about building a gem. If I can type today. Right, so we talked about using bundler to build a gem. Very easy to get up and running. You got to modify the gem spec file. That kind of has all the information about the gem, as well as a README if you want people to contribute or if there's guidelines for how to work with the gem. But once the gem is created, you can start to write some code. It's important to write some tests as well so you know the gem works. And then we also covered deploying the gem to Ruby gems, right? So we built the gem and then we deployed it locally from our machine to Ruby gems, which lets other people start to install it. What's the benefit of a gem? Or any code that could be used across many different locations. So even if it's in the context of a specific app, maybe it wants, it's code that can be abstracted out and maintained separately, and it can be used in multiple places. Always a good use case for a gem. It kind of keeps it separate, like deployment process, separate dependencies. It's also just nice to have a gem for code that you think could be useful for other people. If it's useful for you, maybe it's useful for other people. In that case, why not open source it and create the gem? And then that brings us to this week, which is the end of it. And we'll be covering group projects and kind of looking forward to all the demos that each group has worked hard to put together. So that was the review, and I'll post this recap, as always, to the group. But we did cover a lot, and hopefully you guys used a lot of this stuff in the group projects. And if you didn't, hopefully at least this review was helpful to kind of refresh what we talked about and what we had learned. So now the class is over, I want to talk a little bit about the next steps. So week 8 lab this week will be the internal demo day, as we talked about. So each group will get about 10 minutes to present. We have about 7 groups, so that'll take us about most of the lab. To each group come up here, go ahead and plug in the laptop, get going, present for about 10 minutes, and then we'll record those. Feel free to, if you want to coordinate, if you want to dress up or maybe coordinate what you're going to wear, go for it by all means. So what are the next steps? Let's talk a little bit about what comes after this class. So next Saturday, August 12th, is our public demo day. Hopefully you guys all saw my post about the Facebook event. Please go ahead and click going so you can get updates so we can just keep track of, make sure everyone's attending. Feel free to invite your friends as well. It's a great day to show off all the hard work you've put into your project. So bring your friends by. There'll be some free food. At the very least, they can have the food and maybe they'll be inspired to take the class next time around. Who knows? So there's also, for you guys, now that you've completed the course, there's an alumni Facebook group. It's important that everyone joins the group. This is the best way that we keep track of everyone. This group is very common for people to post job postings in. It's just a great way to keep also in touch with the Coder School network. So this is the 7th iteration of the class, the 7th time we've done it. So there's 6 previous classes of people who are all on this alumni group. It's a great way to get access to a larger network of developers here in Ho Chi Minh, as well as just online. So definitely join the alumni group. People are pretty active in there. There's usually a lot of jobs being posted in there, so it's a great way if you're curious about jobs to kind of get some information. Let's see as well. So don't be strangers to Coder School. Keep in touch, mainly through the Facebook group. But feel free to come by to any of our events. Every so often, Coder School will have talks or meetups. We had a talk last month by this guy, Jiren from San Francisco, who gave a talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence. Loy went to it, right? Would you say pretty helpful, pretty useful stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Exactly. Pretty interesting to learn. The Coder School motto is always be learning. So we'll host meetups and talks every so often. Definitely, if they are interesting to you, please come. They're a great way to kind of keep learning and get exposed to new subjects and new topics. If any of you feel like you want to give a talk as well, let me know. We can arrange one of you to give a presentation. If there's a particular technology that you feel very passionate about and you want to share that with everyone and maybe talk about it, by all means, let me know. We can make that happen. We're also really always looking for mentors, people to help. So a big thanks to our TAs for this course, right, who put in a lot of hard work to help make sure that everyone had success with the homeworks, to give everyone feedback with the homework, as well as answer a bunch of questions and show up to tutorials. And so without the TAs, this class really can't happen. We really rely on the presence of TAs to really help us. And so they did a fantastic job. But they also are busy and can't always be TAs. So we're always looking for more TAs. If you found that you really like this course and you want to keep learning more, you can consider being a TA. As a TA, you get a chance to kind of get more involved in the course, to learn more again. And when you go through the second time, a lot of times you learn that you really learn more than you did the first time. I guess Lloyd, do you want to talk about being a TA?
Yeah. I don't know, everything he said is true. Like, just like watching a movie or listening to a song, the first time you watch it or hear it, you don't pick up everything, right? I know some of you guys are super experienced, but I'm not. So I know for me, like, being a TA helped me learn a lot, to internalize the concepts. And also, you get to meet a ton of people, man. You guys come work at Coder School, not work at Coder School, but TA, and then, if you want to teach, I don't know if you're good or not. I'm not saying you aren't. But anyway, if you want to, I'm sure everyone here has a job though. So that's the one thing that sucks about working with web developers. We could say, oh man, we're gonna get you an awesome job, but you've already got a job, And that's how it is with programming. But in any case, like Nimrod says, man, joining the Coder School network, you meet a lot of people. I know I'm happy to have met a lot of you guys. And this is just one class. You know what I mean? It's 4 classes every single time we run. And then, obviously there's always the previous classes as well.
Yeah, so definitely utilize the network through the Facebook group. But if you're looking for a job in Ruby on Rails, being a TA might be a good path to kind of keep yourself up to date with Ruby, keep yourself practicing, learn more, maybe push out some more projects in the meantime while you're being a TA. Definitely a cool path to keep pursuing knowledge if you want to get a job with Ruby on Rails. As well as TAs, we're looking always for mentors. So if you want to be a mentor for any sort of project, let me know. We can get a way to help you mentor other teams in the future, or maybe you want to work on your project yourself and you're looking for mentors as well. Come talk to us. We can get you some mentors to work on your project. Maybe some of you found that this group project was exciting. You really liked working on a team, but you're not quite finished. You want to keep working. Maybe you want to keep working in the same group. Maybe you want to work with some other people and create a new project. If you guys want to keep going as well after the class, come talk to me. I'm happy to keep talking and help you guys out after the class, working with you as a mentor, maybe finding other mentors that fit your specific need. So by all means, if you want to keep working on your projects after the course is over, don't feel constrained. Come talk to me. We can figure out a way to make that happen. If you're looking for, let's see here, if you're looking for web development, either like a contract role or full-time roles, get in touch with the Coder School. So first join the alumni group. I would email Coder School, so ruby@coderschool.vn. Email it in. I also believe Fung sent out a survey on Facebook. Did everyone see that? She sent out a survey for the demo day about who was interested in what sort of positions afterwards. Yep. Definitely fill that out. That'll be helpful as well, so we can keep track of who's looking for what sort of opportunities and maybe steer those people your way. We have some great companies coming to demo day who are looking to hire, and so if we know that you're looking for a job, we can steer those people towards you. If you're also looking for contract work, let us know, because Coder School has the option to help people find contract work. A lot of times companies will come to Coder School and ask for developers, say, hey, we need developers for 2 months to build this system, and so we'll oftentimes pair those up with people who we know from our classes to work on that sort of stuff. And finally, if you really enjoy this course and you want to teach, come talk to me. We will always looking for more teachers as well, especially with Ruby on Rails teachers. it is a paid position, and we'll train you. So we'll kind of get you up to speed, make sure you feel comfortable teaching, and send you on your way with the next batch of students. So there are many ways to stay involved. Alumni network, being a TA, being a teacher, working on your projects, being a mentor. Hopefully, the lesson you get out of this is that we want you to stay involved. Right, the course is only 8 weeks, and after 8 weeks, we no longer will meet on a weekly basis. But that shouldn't mean that you shouldn't stop and just drop everything. You guys have worked hard to learn a lot of stuff, and so keep it up, keep learning, keep staying involved. Whether it's helping other people learn or helping yourself to learn, there's definitely a lot to do to grow the community, and we're always looking for ways to encourage everyone to learn all the time. So in that vein, keep learning, keep teaching yourself. And when possible, keep helping others and teach others as well. Great. So, yeah, that covers up our review. Why don't we go ahead and take about some time for each group to just practice together, and then we'll start the presentations at 8:10. Okay? So in 20 minutes, we'll start with the demos from each group. Sweet. Thanks, guys.